Okay, so everybody should have their textbooks open to page 288. We're trying to find the author's purpose for writing this story. So as we've read, we've come up with some clues. What's the first clue that we came up with that'll help us to determine author's purpose? Zari.
Snakes can't talk and be bullies.
So the first thing was snakes can't talk or be bullies.
There was a second part to go with that.
I know. I was just writing one at a time. So the very first thing we saw was that this snake was talking and he was not very nice. Now in real life, do snakes talk? Are they mean on purpose? No. What else did that tell us? The fact that we saw right away that this snake was a bully, when normally we have to read a little bit to kind of figure out people's personalities. What did that tell us that we found it right away? Ethan? The author gets right to the story. He doesn't introduce characters, then reveal their personalities. He just tells you right away, hey, Snake is not a nice guy. Then we kept reading, and we figured out another clue that told us that will help us to determine the author's purpose. What is the other clue that we found? Victoria.
The sequence of events make that reader want.
The sequence of events. Sequence
of events make that reader want to see what happens next.
So, the things that are happening, the events, and the order that they're happening in, make us want to know what's going to happen next. Okay, and that's about where we stopped. I think, oh, you know what, okay. Where did we stop on page, sorry, we were on page 286. Where did we stop? I didn't make a note. I know we didn't read the whole page, I don't think. Where did we stop, Cullen?
I think we stopped where it starts, he needed.
He needs?
Yeah.
Did we read She Gathered Clay? Did we stop at
We stopped at.
Coyote barked, yip yip, coyote barked, yes yes? Aaron?
I read that.
You read that. Did anybody read after Aaron?
And then you read.
And then I read.
And then you read a paragraph.
But I don't think I finished it. Okay, yes, we read, if you help me, I read, if you help me together, we can make a guardian of the road. I don't think we read She Gathered Clay yet. I think that's where we stopped. So we're at She Gathered Clay. Michaela, please read next. Oh, Michaela, you're muted. So go ahead, start again. She gathered clay.
Right.
We're on page 286. She gathered clay.
She gathered clay from the secret mountain.
Not secret.
And
Not secret. It's not secret. It's
sacred.
sacred.
She gathered clay from the sacred mountain and wet it with water for a desert spring.
Not for a desert spring, but
From a desert spring. Working quickly, but with great care, she molded the body.
keep going.
He needs shelter.
Not shelter. Go slow. Don't let your brain guess before your eyes read it.
He needs letter.
Not sledder, but how would we say this first syllable, Michaela?
Lynn.
Not sled. That's an N.
Slin.
Slender.
Der.
Slender. Slender. If we take the pause out, what is the word?
Slender.
Slender. Okay? So he took two. So
He
go.
needs letter legs to run faster, said Deer. He took two slender branches.
Slender. Michaela, it's
Letter?
slender.
Oh,
Not sledder, slender. There's an N in there.
he took two slender branches
Not brushes.
from a mesquite brush
Not brush. Go slow.
branch.
Not branch. Okay, you know this word, you're just letting your brain guess before your eyes read it.
Brush.
Not brush, there's no R. Put your finger on the word. And look at all the letters. Who can help her out? Mason? Bush. So start that sentence again. He took two.
He took two slender branches from a mesquite bush and handed them to desert women.
Okay. Read next. Victoria. Loud and slow.
She pushed the sticks into the clay, and a long tail to balance himself, said Blue Jay. Caw, caw, like mine, croaked Raven, and he took long back feathers.
Not back feathers.
Black feathers from his tail. He must be strong, cried the mighty eagle, and he plucked dark feathers from his wings.
So right now, the author is trying to show us that each animal has something special to offer. Do you see that? Who is offering things to create this new animal? And what are they offering? So what was the first animal to offer something? And what did that animal offer? Aaron.
The deer, he offered legs for the bird.
Why do you think a deer knows that slender legs will help an animal run fast? Why do you think a deer knows that slender, that means skinny, thin legs will help the animal to run fast? Zadie?
Because they have slender legs.
Because deer have slender legs. What was the next animal to offer something? Colin?
The blue jay.
The blue jay. What did the blue jay say?
A long tail to balance himself.
A long tail to balance himself. And who actually gives what is needed? The deer gave the 2 sticks. Blue jay suggested the long tail. Who gave what was needed, and what did they give? Smith.
The black crow gave a feather from his tail.
So the raven gave some feathers from his tail. Why would a blue jay and a raven know that a long tail balances an animal? Zari.
Because they have it.
Because they have long tails. What's the next thing? Who offered the next thing, and what was it? Ethan. An eagle. What did the eagle offer? So that the bird would be what, or so that this new animal would be what? Strong. Why do you think the eagle knew that offering these feathers from his wings would help to make the bird strong? Because he's strong. Think of an eagle. Think of how their wings look. They are so long and powerful. That's why it's our country's bird. Let's keep that in mind. And let's keep reading. Quickly, Cullen.
And actually where my cabin is, there's a ginormous eagle nest.
So they have to be strong to make those massive nests. Aaron, please read next, loud and slow.
And have a long beak to peck at rattlesnake, said Aaron,
Good.
offering a long thing lead from the marsh.
So now what's happening? Aaron, tell us what's happening since you just read.
The heron is offering a thing lead from the marsh
For what?
for a long beak.
For a long beak. Why would a heron think that an animal would be able to peck at rattlesnake with a long beak?
Because he has a long beak.
Because herons have a long beak. Herons are the ones that you see usually near like creeks or rivers or bodies of water that have really long legs and really long beaks. Why do you think they need those long beaks? Cullen?
To catch fish.
To catch fish. Because does a heron live underwater where it's really close to the fish? No, so he needs that really long beak. Can he breathe under the water? No, so that maybe less of his head has to go underwater so he can catch the fish and still be able to breathe. Yes, quickly. Mason.
Just like seagulls have to catch fish in the ocean.
Very true. So now we know Heron is offering something that he knows is important because he has it himself. Aaron, keep reading.
He needs sharp eyes, said Coyote, offering 2 shiny stones from the riverbed.
So now what's happening? Mason?
Coyote is offering sharp eyes
Sharp eyes. What is he using to represent the sharp eyes?
so he can see better at night.
Well, what is he using? What items is he using to represent those sharp eyes? Is he taking his own eyes? No. What is he using to represent?
Shiny stones.
Shiny stones. Why do you think Coyote would say that this new animal needs sharp eyes? Smith.
Because coyotes have really good eyes.
Because coyotes have really good eyes. Think about, when are coyotes awake? When do coyotes hunt? Zadie.
At night.
At night. If you tried to go and find food out in the wild at night, would you be able to do it very well? No. So why? Because we can't. Class. See.
See at night if you don't hear it.
So coyotes must be able to see well at night. So, we have several different things going together. Can we actually make a bird or an animal out of mud, sticks, branches, feathers from a tail, feathers from wings, a reed, those are the like tall grasses that stick out of water, and stones? Can we make a bird in real life out of those things? No. So are they actually offering their own things, or are they offering things they know work in other objects? Objects that represent those things that they have. Are they offering the real thing, or are they offering items that represent? Michaela?
Items that represent.
Good. So it represents things that they are good at. So let's think about this clue and what it means. By having all of these animals offer things that they have, what does that tell us about the animals? Smith.
That they are very kind and sweet.
Okay. But think about what that means. Think about what they are offering. Are they offering things that they're not so good at? Class?
No.
No. Do they all have these things? Do all animals have long, slender legs? Do all animals have long tails or powerful wings or sharp beaks or sharp eyes? No. So what is the author trying to tell us about these animals by having them each offer something that they are good at? Ethan? They're different. In good ways or bad ways? Very good. So, the author shows that each animal is, what's a better word for different? What's a more interesting word for different? Who can think? There's a word I'm looking for. Zadie?
Unique.
Unique. Very good. That's a much more interesting word. Each animal is unique comma, because we're going to continue this. But what do you think is going to happen when they all offer the best of themselves? What do you think is going to happen when they all offer the best of themselves? Their long, fast, skinny legs, their long tail to balance, their powerful wings, their sharp eyes, their sharp beaks. What do you think is going to happen when they all put their talents, their uniqueness together into one new thing? Victoria.
It's gonna create this animal that has all of the same talents as those in
And what's going to happen if they each take their most powerful feature and put it together into one animal?
This animal is gonna be very powerful.
So, are they fighting each other and still saying, well, I don't want to go stop this animal, you go stop this rattlesnake? Are they saying, well, my eyes are most powerful, so I'm best at fighting this rattlesnake? What are they doing right now? Carla?
They are giving the new animal.
Well, okay, we
some
know
of
that. We
their
know that the
talent.
book tells us that they're doing that. But what are they doing in each giving their own thing that they know is helpful rather than trying to fight each other? Either to not go stop the rattlesnake or to go stop the rattlesnake. Zari.
They're trying to give them all of the stuff that the bird.
Okay,
the
so we know that. The
Roadrunner,
book tells
needs.
us. The book tells us that. The book says they're each giving something good about themselves. What are they doing? Don't tell me literally what they're doing. What are they doing in giving each of their greatest talents? They're working together. Does it say the animals are working together? Does the book say the animals are working together? But can we see by what they're doing that they are working together? They're not fighting each other. They're not arguing. The author shows that each animal is unique, but by working together, they are powerful. It's like in real life. If one person tries to fight injustice, are they going to get very far? Even if they are like the best at everything, are they going to get very far if they're working by themselves? But what if everybody works together and puts all of their talents together? Are they more likely to beat whatever they're going up against? Yes. Okay, so let's go back to the story and let's find out if this works. Aaron, go ahead, keep reading.
As Desert Woman added each new gift to the clay body, a strange new bird took shape. What is your gift, Owl? Asked Desert Woman. I will give him the gift of dance. He will be agile and fast. She answered. I will call him Roadrunner.
Smith, read next. Did you hear where Aaron left off?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so go ahead.
Then she breathed life into the clay. Roadrunner opened his eyes. He blinked and looked around. What a strange bird, the animals said. Roadrunner took his first steps. He tottered forward, then backward, then forward, and fell flat on his face.
Uh-oh. What do you think the animals are thinking right now? Mason? Can't hear you. They're like, oh gosh, it didn't work. Maybe? Ethan, keep reading. Loud and slow.
The animals sighed and shook their heads. This bird was not agile and he was not fast. He could never stand up to rattlesnake.
A little louder.
He was too awkward. Disappointed, the animals made their way home.
Okay, keep going a little louder. Gotta be loud, like you're yelling, okay? Try to get third grade to hear you.
Desert Woman helped Roadrunner stand and she told him what he must do. He will dance around Rattlesnake and peck at his tail. He must learn he is not the king of the road.
Okay, thank you. Zari, read next.
Me? Can I really do it? Roadrunner asked, balancing himself with his long tail. You need only to practice, Desert Woman said. The Roadrunner again tried his legs. He took a few steps forward and bumped into a tall cactus. Practice, he said. He tried again and leaped over a sleeping horned toad.
Horned toad.
Horned toad.
So I see that the author is choosing to show that Roadrunner is really clumsy and awkward at first. He's falling all over, he's tottering on his legs, he bumps into a cactus. Why do you think the author is choosing to show that this bird that is supposed to be so powerful and save them from this rattlesnake is pretty clumsy? Doesn't seem promising right now. Why do you think the author is choosing to do that? Zari. Come on, guys. Everybody can think about this. Don't wait for other people to answer the questions. Same people answering the questions every time. Why is the author choosing to show that Roadrunner is clumsy and awkward at first, Ari?
Because we didn't know no one knows how to walk or anything when they're first, born alive or in an egg.
Good. It's showing that everybody needs to do what? Zadie.
Everybody needs to practice.
Everybody needs to practice and learn. Why do you think this is important to the story? Why do you think it's important that the author shows us that even Roadrunner, who's supposed to be this savior of these people, still needs to practice and learn? Why do you think the author is choosing to show us that? Victoria.
Because
Loudly.
Everybody has to learn a new thing every single day. And like Zari said, when you're first born, you can't know how to walk. And the desert woman was saying, you have to practice, because practice makes perfect.
Good, because we all have to learn and practice. If we were all good at something the first time we tried it, what do you think might happen the first time we're not so good at something? Cullen?
You fall.
Well, what do you think would happen though? If we were good at everything the first time we tried, and then all of a sudden we tried something and we weren't good at it. Michaela, what do you think would happen?
It would be awkward and embarrassing.
Okay, but it's sometimes just learning something new is awkward and embarrassing anyway. But what would happen if we were good at everything we tried, which is not, this doesn't happen, and then all of a sudden we weren't so good at something? Aaron, we would give up. It's always going to be awkward and embarrassing when we first try something. Always. That's the point. But you have to work through it. You have to keep trying. If we were good at something right away, we would never keep trying. So what do you think the author is trying to tell us right now? Mason? Don't give up, like some of you have done with math. This is a good story to read right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn the page. Oh, I have one more thing to say. If we are not so good at something and we try and try and try, how does it feel when we're able to do that finally? When we are not so good at something and we try and we try and we try and then we do it, how does that feel? Cullen?
Good.
Good. Which one feels better? Being able to do something right away? Or practicing, 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 and then finally being able to do it? Honestly, which one feels better? Smith?
Practicing and then being able to do it.
Practicing and then being able to do it. Because if you can do it right away, do you even know how it feels to fail? No, but once you know how it feels to fail and then you overcome that, that should feel even better. Because if you do it right on the first time, are you really even going to remember that feeling 5 minutes later? No. But if you practice and you practice and you practice and you finally get that, you're going to remember that feeling for a very long time. Okay, let's find out what happens next. I will read next. He tried jumping over a desert tortoise, but landed right on her back. The surprised turtle lumbered away, and Roadrunner crashed to the ground. "I'll never get it right," he moaned. "Yes, you will," Desert Woman said again, helping him to his feet. "You need only to practice." So Roadrunner practiced. He ran back and forth, learning to use his skinny legs, learning to balance with his tail feathers. "Practice," he said again, "practice." With time, he was swirling and twirling like a twister. The once awkward bird was now a graceful dancer. "I got it!" he cried, zipping down the road, his legs carrying him swiftly across the sand. "Thank you, Desert Woman." Carla, please read next.
Use your gift to help others, the Roadrunner said, and she returned to her abode on
Abode.
Sacred Mountain.
Abode is a house
A
or a
little
home.
Roadrunner called. He raced down the road until his sharp eyes spied the rattlesnake hiding under a tall yucca splint.
Okay, pause. So, folk tales are written to be enjoyable. They're written so that we can enjoy it. Hint. But they also do something else. Who remembers from either what I said yesterday or from talking about folk tales in the past, what else do folk tales always do? Zari?
Teach you something.
Teach you something. Has this story taught us something yet? Aaron?
Yes.
What has this story taught us so far?
It has taught us that we should practice and not give up.
Good. Aaron said it's taught us that it's important to keep trying and practice and to not give up. What would have happened? Well, no, let's read the rest of the story. Keep that in mind as we read. Zadie, read next.
I am king of the road, Rattlesnake hissed,
A little louder.
and shook his tail furiously. No one may use my road without my permission.
Why is the word my in those like slanted italics? Why do you think that? The rest of it isn't in italics. Why is just the word my in italics? Victoria.
Because the snake is saying it in a weird way because he can't. And in this kind of story, he can't talk like we do because he has fangs and like so it sounds like he's that.
Maybe. Zari, do you have another reason why you think it's in italics or why you know it's in italics?
Well, I'm just guessing. I think it's because it's slanted because it's the name of the name of his place that he's taking over.
Okay. Does anybody else have an idea or think they know why? So authors, when they're writing, can we hear how the author wants us to say the words? Are we able to hear that when we're reading something? No. So what authors will do when they write is sometimes when they want us to emphasize a certain word, they'll put it in italics. So that tells us to read it with emphasis on that word. So it would sound like, no one may use my road without my permission. So do you hear how I emphasize that word my? Authors aren't able to tell us, hey, I want you to read it this way. So they use things like that, like italics, or like funny looking writing, like in the story about Mighty Jackie, bless you, to let us know, hey, I want you to emphasize these words. They mean more. You're saying it either with meanness, if you're talking about a mean character, with excitement, if you're talking about something exciting, like in Mighty Jackie and those strikes. Remember the strikes were written like in big, almost handwritten looking letters, and they had like lots of eyes. Like letter I's, not eyes. So, that's what authors do. So that's what's happening there. Zadie, keep going.
The road is for everyone to use, Roadrunner said sternly. Who are you? I am Roadrunner. Get off my road before I bite you, Rattlesnake glared. I'm not afraid of you, Roadrunner replied.
So right now, the author is creating suspense. What does suspense mean? Smith, what does suspense mean?
It means the author is trying to give you more and more exciting information.
Okay.
Till you get to the really exciting part.
Okay. Good. So suspense means we don't know what's going to happen yet, but we're wanting to know more and more about what's happening next. We know something big is happening because of what the author is saying. But do we know what is going to happen yet? Do those suspenseful words, those words that create the suspense, make us want to continue even more than we already did? Do they? Yeah, because if the author is creating suspense, that means we are like, something big is about to happen. I don't know what it is yet, but the author's trying to tell me something big is about to happen. I want to know what that big thing is. So let's look at this page. What has the author written that creates that suspense, that lets us know something big is coming? What has the author written to let us know something big is coming? What is the author writing to create suspense? Zadie.
I think it's the last sentence.
Well, which is what?
I'm not afraid of you, Roadrunner replied.
Okay. Why does that make you think something big is about to happen?
Because if he hadn't said that, he could have just ran off and nothing would have happened.
Okay.
But since he said that, he's probably getting the rattlesnake mad.
Okay. Do we know what's going to happen to Roadrunner? Just because he says, I'm not afraid of you, can we say, oh, he's going to win. He's not afraid. Do we know that? No. Victoria, what did you think showed suspense or created suspense on this page?
It said, get off my road before I bite you, rattlesnake player. And then I also agree with Zadie because it also goes with suspense because Zadie said that he could just run away after the snake said, I can bite you.
Good. So Victoria said, what rattlesnake says builds suspense, because that's kind of creepy. He says, go away or else I'm going to bite you. Do we know if Roadrunner's going to get bit yet? Could it happen? So that creates suspense. Also, think about the fact Roadrunner has just become good at his dancing skills. Just now. But yet he's already trying to find the rattlesnake. Think about it. If you have, if you're playing sports and you just learned how to play the sport, are you going to want to go and play a game right then? Or do a recital right then if you just learned all the steps? No, you're probably going to want to wait. But Roadrunner's like, I don't care. I can do it. Do we know yet if he can do it? Do we want to know if he can do it? Let's keep reading. Colin, read next.
The people and the animals heard the rattlesnake,
No, go slow. You're letting your brain guess what comes next instead of reading it.
heard the rocks,
No, that's one of our vocab words. Not rucks. You skip that second U.
ruckus, and drew close to watch. Had they heard correctly, Roadrunner was challenging Rattlesnake. I'll show you I'm king of the road, Rattlesnake shouted.
Oh, remember we have that am in italics. So should we just read it as, I'll show you I'm king of the road? How should we read it, Cullen?
I'll show you I'm king of the road.
But am is in italics. So we can't just skip over the word am. How do you think we should say that sentence? We want to put emphasis on that am because that's what the author's telling us by putting it in italics. Zari.
I think we should say it like this. I'll show you I am the king of the road.
You're putting emphasis on I. I is not the italicized word. Aaron? Loud so we can all hear.
I'll show you I am the king of the road.
There you go. I'll show you I am king of the road. You don't think I'm king of the road? Well, I am king of the road. Not I am, but I am. Okay, so Colin, read that sentence again. Think about how Aaron read it.
I'll show you. I am the king of the rattle.
Go ahead.
Hissing so loud the desert mice trembled with fear. He shook his rattle until it sounded like a thunderstorm. He struck at Roadrunner, but Roadrunner hopped out of the way.
Ooh, see why it's important, that double P? That consonant P, the vowel, consonant, double the consonant. Otherwise, we would read it as he hoped out of the way. And would that make sense? No. Mason, read next, loud and slow.
Stand still, rattlesnake, cried,
I can't hear you. Be confident. Your voices get so quiet when you get to a word that isn't like a sight word. Don't let that happen. Confidence. Stay loud. Especially because if you're quiet, I can't hear what you're saying, so I can't help you figure out the correct way to say it. So try again, Mason. Stay loud because I can't hear you.
stand still, rattlesnake, cried,
You got really quiet. I can't hear you.
stand still, rattlesnake, cried, and launched again.
So that looks like the word lunged. Is lunged a word? But how else can we say G that will be a word? Mason? Well, that would be lunged, but lunged isn't a word. How else can we say G? What other sound does G make, Mason? Sometimes it says G, but sometimes it says G. Would lunged be a word? So G doesn't sometimes say G. It sometimes says, not G, but Zadie? J. J, not G. So Mason, replace that G with a J and say that word.
Stand still, rattlesnake, cried, and lunged again.
Lunged. Is lunged a word? What is lunge? Who can stand up and show me what it means to lunge? Mason, since you're reading it, show us what it means to lunge. You might have to move away from your, yeah, so you have space in front of you. Yeah, you kind of jump at something or you go after it really quickly, like with your arms first. Like you kind of go like Mason did. Or it means the exercise where you go down on one knee at a time. Either way. So does that make more sense than lunged? Can you picture that now? Can you see a rattlesnake lunging at a roadrunner? There you go. Okay, keep going.
But Roadrunner advanced gracefully out of reach. Rattlesnake coiled for one more thing. He struck like a lightning, but fell flat on his face. Roadrunner had jumped to safety.
So right now, is Roadrunner using that sharp beak to protect himself from rattlesnake? What is he using right now? He's not using that sharp beak, which we would think would be the first thing you'd want to use. What is he using to get away? Smith?
His legs.
His legs. Because what is he doing every time rattlesnake comes after him, Smith?
He is dancing away.
He's dancing away. He's jumping out of the way. He's like moving like this. Dancing out of the way. Now, is that actual dancing? But does it kind of look like dancing? Kind of. Okay, thank you, Mason. Read next. Zadie.
Now it was Roadrunner's turn. He ruffled his feathers and danced in circles around Rattlesnake. Again and again he pecked at the bully's tail. Like a whirlwind, he spun around Rattlesnake until the serpent grew dizzy. His eyes grew crossed and his tongue limply out of his mouth.
So what's he doing right now? Is he killing Rattlesnake? What's he doing, Victoria?
He's not killing Rattlesnake, he's making it very tired.
He's making him very tired. Because every time Roadrunner dances around, what does Snake have to try to do? Catch him. He keeps going after him, or he keeps spinning. What else is he doing? He's not only making him tired, but he's doing something else to him. Zari?
Making him dizzy.
Making him dizzy. And when you get dizzy, you start to get confused. You maybe don't see straight. It gets harder to fight back. Keep going.
You win, Rattlesnake cried. You are not king of the road, and you must not frighten those who use it, Roadrunner said sternly.
Okay, go ahead and turn the page. And I think I am going to read the rest because we have to go to music in like 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and read the rest, and then we're going to use our clues to figure out the author's purpose. Just because I'm reading doesn't mean you guys just get to sit there and do nothing. Follow along. Use your finger to show me that you are following along and to help yourself follow along. I promise, the beaten Rattlesnake said, and quietly slunk down his hole. The people cheered and praised the bird. Now we can visit our neighbors in peace and go to our cornfields without fear, the elders proclaimed, and the children will no longer be frightened. Thank you, Roadrunner, the children called, waving as they followed their parents to the field. Then the animals gathered around Roadrunner. Yes, thank you for teaching Rattlesnake a lesson, Owl said. Now you are king of the road. No, now there is no king of the road, replied Roadrunner. Everyone is free to come and go as they please, and the likes of Rattlesnake had better watch out because I'll make sure the roads stay safe. So, even though we're not talking about problem and solution in this chapter, was there a problem and a solution in this story? What was the problem? What was the problem in this story? Carla.
The problem was that the rattlesnake scared the people.
Well, the animals.
The people and kids. He was trying to get food and go to their neighbors.
Okay, so the snake was scaring everybody away from using the road. What happened? Don't tell me the solution, but what happened? What was the main thing that happened so that a solution could happen? What was the main thing that happened in order to find a solution? Keep your face in. Okay, so what happened in order to get to the solution? Don't tell me the solution. Had I called on somebody? No? Okay. Zadie, what happened in order to lead to the solution?
They went to the desert woman, and then she got clay, and then they all gave something, and then she created the road.
She created the Roadrunner. And then what happened to lead to the solution? So Desert Woman, and with the help of all the animals, created Roadrunner. Then what happened? Don't tell me the solution yet. Tell me what happened next that led to a solution. Cullen.
Roadrunner was making Rattlesnake dizzy.
Well, not yet. What happened first? What had to happen first? Roadrunner is created. Then what happened, Cullen?
He had to practice.
He had to practice. Then what happened? Smith.
The Roadrunner finally got the confidence to go fight with Rattlesnake.
So the Roadrunner fought with Rattlesnake. What was the solution to the problem? Zari.
that Roadrunner had that the rattlesnake was not guarding the road anymore.
So Roadrunner had defeated Rattlesnake, and now, are there any kings of the road? Are there any kings of the road? Mason?
No.
No. Everybody's able to use it the way that it's supposed to be used. So let's think about the author's purpose. What was the main purpose of this story? Think of those things that we know are author's purposes. What was the main purpose the author had for writing this story? Michaela, think of all of our clues. Think of what we know about the different types of author's purpose. What was the author's main purpose for writing this story? Michaela?
To persuade us.
Was it to persuade? Did they give us an opinion and give us all these reasons that we should believe that opinion? Did they tell us their opinion at all, the author? No, so it's not to persuade, because if you're going to persuade, first you're going to start out by telling somebody your opinion. Then you're going to say, this is why you should believe my opinion. So not persuade. Victoria? To entertain. How do you know the author's purpose was to entertain, Victoria?
Because from all the clues you got, like the snake can't talk or be a bully, then that's fantasy.
So we have fantasy. We know it's nonfiction. Or I'm sorry, it is fiction. What else tells us that it's not written for any other reason? Zadie?
Because other folk tales usually they're made to entertain.
Okay, so other folk tales are written to entertain. How else? How do we know it's not written to persuade? Zari?
Because we didn't hear anything about how you should go by this, or I think this.
So we didn't hear how the author feels. How do we know it wasn't written to inform? Colin?
Because the author's not teaching us.
Well, he is teaching us something, but what is he not using? Carla?
He's not using information.
Well, we have information. Any words that tell us something is information. What is the author not using that tells us he did not write this to inform? Come on, guys, think of what you use to inform. Aaron?
He's not informing us because they didn't tell us any actual facts.
There's no facts, no real facts in this story. But what was the secondary purpose? Not only did he write it so that we would entertain us, but it's a folk tale. So it also does what? As we read, what happened? Michaela, what did the author do as we read? He entertained us, but what else did he do?
He also taught us a little something.
He taught us a lesson. So the author's purpose is to entertain and to teach a lesson. So the author's purpose, inform, is not the only thing that teaches us something. So can we say the author's purpose is not to inform because they don't teach us anything? Can we say that? No. We have to use a different reason. The author's purpose is not to inform us because... Zadie?
Because there aren't any facts.
There's no facts. What was the lesson that we learned as we were entertained by this story? Carla?
To believe in yourself and keep trying.
Keep trying. Don't give up. Okay, go ahead and leave your book open to the about the author and illustrator right before lunch. You're going to read that on your own. Girls at home, you can put it to the side, but after music, before you eat lunch, I want you to read about the author and the illustrator. Let's see. Everybody at school, go ahead, put your guided practice into your reading, the reading side of Reading and Religion. Everybody can put their guided practice in the reading side of Reading and Religion. Then if you're at school, once you've done that, stand up, push your chair in. Yes, Michaela?
Can you tell someone or ask someone to tell Mr. Dr. Nix if that I'm on Zoom?
Okay, yes, I will. Do you have the information for it, Michaela?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, so girls at home, I will see you at 12:35. You may go when you're ready. Don't forget that guided practice goes in the reading side of reading and religion, which Michaela, you don't have it, so just bring everything home back to school with you, and then you can file it. I'll help you file it then. So don't lose it. Don't get rid of it. Keep it, and we'll file it when you get back to school. And then girls, make sure that you read about the author and the illustrator before you eat lunch. Okay, I'll see you at 12:35.
Bye.
Helpers, go ahead and line up in your